Live. How you doing, everybody? It's Bruce here, traveling with Bruce from Creston, British Columbia in Canada. How are you doing today? Second time for me today. If you watch the first show and you watch this show, you'll notice something different. If you really are watching carefully, the first person to be able to identify what happened between the first show and the second show will not win anything, but you'll get kudos. How about that? Let me know what you think is different about the second show versus the first show. And I'll tell you right now, it's not this shirt. I was wearing this shirt on the first show, and I'm still wearing this shirt on the second show. So let me know what you think it is, and we'll see what we can do. Mark knows what it is. Mark Wolters knows exactly what the difference is between the first show and the second show, but we're not going to tell. We're going to keep this quiet. Thank you for being here from around the planet, as always, to catch up with me. We love talking about cruise ships and traveling and everything else. I reached out to Mr. Mark Wolters about a week or so ago on the off chance that he might take mercy on my poor little YouTube soul and say, that guy's only got 60-odd thousand subscribers, but I'm gonna talk to that guy, because Mark has over 700,000 subscribers, and he is appearing on this channel, and I'm going to get him on right away. Even though we've had a few technical glitches the last few minutes, we're going to give this a try. I want to welcome all of you out there. If you have a question for Mark or for me, do the best you can. Type it in there. If you really want me to pay attention to the comments, send us a super chat, because I'll see those bars. Not that I'm begging for money. But I'm bringing Mark in right now. Let's see if this works. Unmute Mark and pop him up here. And there he is. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Bruce. Doing good, buddy. So you've been looking great the entire time. When there's been technical issues, you've been perfectly fine. I can see everything and hear everything. So there was nothing on my end. So
okay, we're working.
It's my fault. It's my fault, my friend.
It's all good. We're all working fine. Fantastic.
Thanks for inviting me, by the way, buddy. I appreciate it.
Hey, man, I'm just honored you're here. Anytime you need a guest on one of your shows, you let me know. I'll drop everything and come on. Thanks, buddy, for this. This is great. I've been doing interviews the last few weeks now with YouTubers, and it's like a hangout. We know what we can talk about, because there's so much to talk about, travel-wise and everything else. Tell me, just for the heck of it, what was the last trip you took overseas before this whole thing happened? Where were you?
So my family and I went to El Salvador in February, and we had a great time. It was funny because we were there, and while we were there, the night before we left, there was actually an earthquake, and we were right on the waterfront, so we were a little worried the night before we were going. And then we came back, and I was supposed to go to London later that month again. So that was the first trip that got canceled because of COVID, and then it was just a steamroller, just another.
Everything collapsed after that.
Yeah. But El Salvador was the last international one we had. It was a good time.
Yeah. When you go on a trip, again, pre-COVID, right? Way back. Is your plan never back to normal, if there's such a thing? When you do that, do you go for, say, a set amount of time, and do you travel with the whole family, or is it the same people every time, or is it just, how do you do it? What's your plan?
So when the kids have time off, we always go. Like, it's not like we prefer to go with the family all the time. I mean, I travel myself often, so does my wife. But for me, it's like, man, I wish the kids were here. I wish Jocelyn was here. So it's nowhere near as fun for me to go without the family. So I try to limit the amount of non-family trips. But I'll go, like, a usual year. I would say the kids are with me about 75% of the time. And Johnson's probably with me about 80% of the time. Right. So I'll do that. And then I got a couple of buddies I'll travel with, so we'll do a guy's trip, and then Jocelyn will go on a girl's trip with her friends. So we all have like kind of our own free time. And then Jocelyn will go with our oldest son sometimes, and I'll go with the younger son sometimes. So we like to mix it up a bit.
Right. And when you send your wife off on a trip, when she's off, she goes, do you tell her to get a bunch of B-roll for you?
Yes, I do. I'm like, hey, could you get some B-roll for us? That'd be really great. But now she has her own channel now called Simply Jocelyn. So she does. So she's been she was in Missouri, in the wine country there in Missouri. Nowhere near as good as Washington up by you. No offense to Missouri wines, but Washington wines are up there really good. But she went there with her friends, so she did a video like 5 tips on doing that. And then the weekend before was her mom's birthday, and for her mom's birthday, her mom wants to get an RV eventually, like as a retirement thing. So Jossa went RV window shopping with with her mom and made a video on that. So I got to put those together. So she'll do some B-roll for me. I have to remind her a few times. It's like, please, could you please do that for me? It's like, yes, I will. So. No, she's getting really good at it. She her channel, like we were in Yellowstone, and she went fly fishing in Idaho, and so she made her own videos there and everything. So it's quite nice. But I'll be like, could you just she's like, I know, dude, it's okay. I'm like, okay.
Please. That's cool. That is cool. So when you're doing, I've seen a ton of your videos. I've been for 3 odd years, and I was watching your videos before I became a YouTuber, before I was even thinking of being a YouTuber. And excuse me, and I would notice, like, let's say you're in the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, and you're standing there, and you're talking about the 10 best things about either Berlin or Germany or whatever, and the 10 worst things, what to look out for, which is really handy stuff. So when you did those videos, would you have your wife holding the camera for you, or were you setting up a tripod? Or
I have it's me and my trusty tripod. There's a couple times, like, let's say we're walking around. Let's say I do like the don'ts of visiting Berlin, and I had the tripod. I do my main spiel, and then later on I might remember something like, hey babe, could you hold the camera for me and do this? So then there might be some like occasional things like that. That we'll do, or she might be like, hey, I want to do this for my channel, so I'll film for her. But I would say 99% of the time it's on the tripod. If it's just me standing there talking, like the B-roll is just like a phone or me holding the camera or her holding the camera. But but I'm like, because this camera's, you hold it for a while, you're like, my arms hurt. Like I have a belly I can put it on, so it's not too hard. But
you're right. You're right. I mean, these iPad, I got my iPhone 11 Pro, whatever. This thing's heavy.
And you shake it a little bit because you hold it. Like I'll do it. I'm like, so when I hold it for a phone, I'll like actually put my elbows in to like hold it. And I'm like, oh my God, there's something to like keep it going.
That's right. When I did my first videos back in August 17, and I didn't know what my channel was going to be. I just called Traveling with Bruce. I thought I'll just talk about all my travels, from the comfort of my couch in my living room, a real low budget guy. And I'm holding the phone.
Look, in my living room, but I'm in a chair, but
There you go. And I'm holding my phone. And I remember I did a video about tips on how to find a good deal for a cruise or how to shop for a cruise and this sort of thing. Yeah. And I was holding the phone and I, like you said, after like 2 minutes, my arm is it's starting to hurt. So I had to kind of very casually switch hands and then bring the phone over on this angle over here. But I would get comments, again, people saying, you're too shaky. You're too shaky. Yeah. Well, I'm running out of circulation. What do you want?
Well, my first videos, when I first started doing this, I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just had like a Nikon Cool Pics, and I was like put it on a rock and like film it. And occasionally he'd fall over or whatever. And I had a buddy of mine. We were in Spain together, and he's got like a tripod and all this stuff. And I'm making fun of him, and we're taking pictures with my phone on a rock. He's got this fancy tripod. I'm like, look, my pictures are better.
Well, I learned the book trick pretty quick, using a bar stool and putting a pile of books on the bar stool and then having the phone sit up. And then I bought a cover for my phone that has a little lever that comes out the back of it to let the phone stand up. And then I made the big purchase for the channel. I bought a tripod that can hold an iPhone.
And what's crazy, it takes you forever to make that big purchase, but they're not that expensive. I mean, the photo I use is like $50. They have it at Best Buy. It fits my backpack. I'm like, why was I like, no, never. That's a big purchase. I'm like, idiot.
Of course, at the time, I was making $3 a month as a YouTuber. So you're thinking, well, this is like going to take a year and a half to get my money back.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. Like for me, I was like,
it's big. When did it happen for you, and where you were recognized on the street as a YouTuber? When did you remember the first time that ever happened to you, where you went, oh my God, I'm being recognized here?
The first time I was actually surprised by it, I was in Venice in 2012, and it was Jocelyn's birthday,
Right.
and we were on Piazza San Marco, and we're like walking around and everything, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Can I take a picture?" I'm like, and I think he's with his family. I'm like, "Sure, I'll take a picture of your family." He's like, "No, with you." I'm like, "What?"
What?
We've been doing it for a couple of years, but I've been recognized a couple of times before, but like when it first surprised me was there, and the guy's like, no, I watched all your videos. It's really helped my family. We're on like this 8-week trip, and your whole thing's based on. I just want to say thank you. I'm like, oh yes, we got a picture. Talk. Shakes my hand. When he shakes my hand, there's €100 bill. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do this. He's like, no. He's like, I know it's her birthday because you guys are talking about it, and you've helped me so much. It's worth it. So that's the one time we've actually sat at Piazza San Marco because it's so expensive. And we sat there. We had ice cream and spritz, and we had that. Thank you to that guy. So I was like, wow, that was cool.
What a wonderful gesture for something like that. That is amazing. And where have you been where you couldn't believe that someone came up to you and recognized you?
So the place where I've had the most people recognize me and come up and say hi is in Brecon Beacons, like Brecon Beacon National Park in Brecon, the town that it's in. Their local grocery store. We stayed there for like 4 or 5 days, and we're in the grocery store, and it was like every aisle was something like, I've never even been here. I don't even have any whales videos. Like what? It was crazy because it was literally aisle after aisle after aisle, and I was like, this is weird. Like, and it's like, I mean, we're talking like middle of nowhere. Okay, you're like, this,
wow.
I mean, the town maybe has 20,000 people or something like that. So it was kind of funny that it was like aisle after aisle after aisle. So it was pretty funny.
That's pretty cool.
I was most surprised how many people there were.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now, I would imagine nowadays, no matter where you go, you must be recognized when you're on the road, at least nationally in the U.S., but I would think internationally pretty common, you'd think?
Actually, I get a lot more when I travel abroad because I have so many more videos outside the U.S. So people watch the video, and we'll go to Italy, and people are like, oh, I watched this video. And like Italy and Germany and France, we get noticed a ton. Portugal, Lisbon, that's where we probably got it like all the time. That was kind of funny. But it'll be like random times sometimes. Like we were in Japan, and this Dutch guy is on the train with us, and he goes, all I hear is like, blah, blah, that's Wolters' world. I'm like, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. But because some people will see us, but they don't say hi. We always like, no, come say hi. I'm totally cool to meet people because it's cool for the travelers, And right. we were in Grand Tetons National Park in September. Well, I guess last month. We were doing a 4-week road trip throughout the Mountain West, and we were there. And this guy, like, we did a live. It's like, yeah, I saw you today. I'm like, where? He's like, but I didn't want to bother you. I'm like, dude, there was nobody anywhere. So like you were one of like the 3 cars that were sitting with us. You could have totally come said hi. It was okay. We were talking. It's like, hi, I wasn't sure. I'm like, no, come up and say hi. It's no problem.
Right. Oh man, that's amazing. Has it ever bothered you? Has there ever been no. You never had an issue with anyone seeing you in person or anything like that?
The thing is, we make our videos to help people travel, and for me, it's like a reward. I'm like, that's someone I helped travel, have a better trip. I mean, for me, it just makes me happy. I'm like, that's so great, And I've never had anybody, do anything bad. I know there was like years ago, we used to get, before YouTube got better at the trolls. I mean, they're not perfect, but they've gotten better. We would get like death threats and stuff like that. And like there were sometimes when I was in Germany, I was in Hamburg filming, and I'm like looking around while I'm filming, and I watched the videos today. I'm like, I can tell like you were worried right there, and you're like, that's why we didn't do really many meetups over the years because we always travel with the kids. I'm like, it's one thing if something happens to me, but as the kids, well, that's a little bit different.
That's a lot different. Yeah. And when you do a meetup with people, do you like to do how do you advance notice, or like if you're in, I don't know, have you ever done like a meetup in a foreign city or
So what I'll usually do is like if we have people that are writing us a lot or something, or because we'll always tell people kind of like where our next few trips are, and people are writing and sharing stuff. We talk a lot. I'm like, hey, we're going to be in Edinburgh. Would you want to meet up? So we'll do things like that. So we usually we'll bump into people and have a little like small get-togethers and stuff like that. I mean, right now there's not really anything happening, but back in the day we would have, it wouldn't be like 20 people, but we'd meet like 2 or 3 people in a town.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like, look, let's go have some beers. So we go to the pub, have a few drinks, talk travel, talk stuff. Have it 2 or 3 hours there, and there's a few, like, there's a video we have tips for Scotland from a local. Scott Neal is one of our fans, and we just met. I was coming, we had talked and chatted. I'd helped him with trips, and he's like, oh. And so he came, and we sat and drank for like 3 hours. I'm like, you want to do a video? He's like, sure. So like that.
That's great. That's the best way to meet someone as well. It's an intimate get together, and it's a cheap evening is maybe not the way to say it, depending on how many beers we're talking about. But still, get to meeting somebody and just sharing stories and stuff. Man, fantastic. Yeah, right on, sir.
I like Gary Gallant's Rush comment. You guys are in the limelight. Can you pretend a stranger, a long-awaited friend? You know what? You'll be surprised when you meet people online and you talk to them so much. When you help with the travel, and it's like, hey, you can make friends online. Yeah. It's nice.
Oh, definitely. Oh, absolutely. I have viewers that I'm dying to see. My first group cruise was supposed to be December the 6th coming up.
Oh, wow. That's good.
It's not happening. And we were supposed to do another. We're supposed to do another one in February, and that one is dead because the ship won't be built yet. And so the beginning of the get-togethers was about to happen for the channel, and I was so looking forward to all of this. But now we have to obviously, delay. And what are we going to do? We can't, nothing more we can do. Fans are saying hi to us like crazy. I've been popping up a few messages as we're talking.
Hey,
and, nice everyone to see us and pop in to say hello to us. If you have any questions for us, let us know. I don't think anyone's answered the question yet. What's different between the first live show and the second live show with Bruce? There's something different about Bruce. No one, maybe they're too polite to say just what it is, but they may figure it out. Edward, welcome. Thank you for saying hi to us. Foxy313, your messages are pouring over. Fantastic. And Terry and Jack Wise and Michael X, all you guys, thank you for saying hi to us and hanging out with Bruce and Mark tonight.
Hey, thanks everybody for clicking the like button. You help Bruce out. Doesn't hurt to hit a like. He's a good dude.
Please. Bruce needs all the help he can get. Debbie Manuel's here, one of my favorites from Chico, California. Thank you, Debbie, for being here and all of your support to this channel. Edward, will the CDC extend the no sale? What do you think, Mark? It's 5 days away.
I think they're going to extend it. I think a lot of the stuff's going to get extended. Right now, you have the numbers going up pretty much across the board. There isn't a reason to not extend it. You know what I mean? So I think I think we're looking at, for me personally, I remember back in May, June, I was like, hey, maybe things get better. Maybe we can do something like end of the year. Now I'm like, right now I'm thinking, maybe something next summer.
Yeah.
That's it. And the cruise industry, the tourism industry and overall has just been destroyed, and all those people's lives and the jobs, not careers, but the jobs, the industry, just so many people have been affected. I don't, there's no answer when it's going to end. We don't know. So that's why we've actually done some videos on how to travel safely. So we did one, if you're going to be traveling the U.S. for road, we put up one today, things to take with you on a road trip. Well, you should know before you go. We have some friends of ours that have done the UK quarantine and then travel. So we talk to them because there's going to be people that are going to travel, and so we want to make sure we can help them travel safer.
Yeah. I noticed today there was a story out about the governor of California. Rephrase that. The governor of Florida was saying that he wants to work with the White House to get sailing started in Florida immediately. And I'm thinking, man, you guys are on the other side.
They can start sailing, but the ports won't let them in. So unless you're going to be those flights that go up and fly around and come back down, I don't know what you're going to have. The thing is, you have testing now. I'm sure you could do it. I work at a university, and we get tested twice a week. And so if you find someone that's been tested, they trace it, and you're like, hey, you're in quarantine for 2 weeks.
Right.
It's if you have the rapid testing, so when people are the night before, hey, you have to stay at the hotel, and then we test you and make sure you're okay to get on. Then we test you when you're on. You do a testing every day when you're there. That could be one way to help. Thank you, Celia. I appreciate it. Or Celia Martin. Thank you very much.
Yep, that's what this is all about. Mark needs all the subscribers he can get. He's
Hey,
relatively.
Rally Creative, good to see you, buddy.
Mark has been on YouTube less than 20 years. He needs all the help he can get. When did you start your channel? Do you remember the year?
It was April of, well, the Wolters World channel was April of, I think, 2009. But I started making videos in, I think, 2007. I was making, 2008, I started making videos. So I made videos for my fiance, is my wife now, to help her get ready to move to Portugal. And then I was making videos for my students because I taught business strategy in Portugal, and not everyone was a native speaker. So I made a bunch of videos to help students so they could study for the exam.
Right.
So that was the first things. And I made some, fun parody videos and things and all that. Those are many, many channels ago.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about being a YouTuber. There's so many YouTubers out there who've been around a while. They've gone through incarnations. They find your legs. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning, was it monetized at the very, very start when you were doing it?
No. I remember when I got, my first channel there was no monetization there. This channel, it got monetized, I think, in 2012, after I'd been on for 3 years or something like that. But back then, you didn't know what it was. Like, we had one video that kind of went viral because it got like 20,000 views, in a year. And so they're like, I mean, nowadays it's different. Now they have their standard like 4,000 hours of watch time, 1,000 subscribers, blah blah blah. But then it was kind of like you got a notification. And then you had how many of you click on the notifications on YouTube? And I'm like, I just happened to oh my God. And they're like, sure. I'm like, I'll apply. And it took, I don't know, I think it took like a month and a half to get approval. So it was cool because I remember Johnson was like, I'm tired of you making the videos. But then they're like, oh, well, if you make an income off of it, okay. But the thing is, what you were saying is it took time to find your legs. I say anybody who wants to start a YouTube channel, just make whatever. Make anything you want and see what works for you and works for your audience. Because I remember when I first started doing Wolters World, I was doing, what to do in a day and 24 hours in a town. So we do all these little videos and I was like, oh, people are going to travel. They're going to learn the language, right? So I made language videos, all kinds of stuff. And after I realized, nobody wants to learn languages, nobody. And so I stopped making those videos because the people who want to learn the language, they're taking a class. The people that are going to travel are like, just throw. That's why in a lot of our videos, I'll throw in 5 or 6 words for that country. I'm like, hey, if you're here, Huva Paiva, which is good afternoon in Finnish, and keep those for just thank you. And I'm like, okay,
right, do that. Right, yeah. I mean, you just throw it out there and see what gives. I did the same thing. Foxy is 106 watching now. She says, Mark is looking as content as the Irish Centurion Michael O'Connor for 1913. Just the same. I don't know if that's a compliment, Mark, or not. I don't know, but let's say it is.
And that's just it. You have to take it. That's why when the trolls are on, I'm like, why, thank you. They're like, you're bad. I'm like, why, thank you. I'm glad you noticed. I've been working on it.
Keep those cards and letters coming in, folks.
That's right.
Oh man, magnificent German. Is that one of yours?
Yeah, Darren's one of my buddies.
Right on. When I see a name I don't recognize, I'm thinking, that must be one of my guests' followers. Fantastic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have a good gang too. I used to do 6 live shows a week. Actually, I used to do 8 live shows a week. I started in August 17, and by January 18, I was doing 8 live shows a week. And I did 6 days a week. I was going live with Cruise News, and then 2 shows dedicated to just doing trivia and hanging out. I did that for a year and a half, and then burnout began to set in.
Right. It's a real deal. I mean, that's one thing. Last year, before coronavirus and stuff, YouTube had a big push about mental health because there's YouTubers that I think kill themselves, and because there is a lot of pressure, especially when you get these bigger channels. They're like, you got to put out the good content, you got to make the sponsors happy, you got to keep doing these things. And you're like, it's tough to come up with ideas sometimes. And so, like, you know what? It's okay to take a break. And I know we were talking about Nick Nimmin from Help YouTubers. He's like, you know what? If you need the break, take it. But you can't. But sometimes you're like, well, if you stop putting out content, your viewers go away. Well, yeah, then your stuff doesn't come up, but you can build it back up, and your mental health is way more important than that. And I know I did an interview with our local school paper, University of Illinois paper, and they're like, what do you have? Do you have advice for students that are home depressed? I'm like, we're going to get through this. It's a tough time, but stick with it. We'll get through it, because sometimes the YouTuber, what people don't realize is a lot of YouTubers, they're doing a lot of this by themselves. Like I edit and I do my stuff myself. My wife does some stuff, but you're doing a lot of these things on your own. And so like, this is your outlet to talk to people. And so it's like, by the end of the day, you're like,
you're back.
I go to bed at 11 o'clock at night and get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm doing stuff all day for this.
Right.
I do my day job, and then I have like all my extra time is.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely right. I found that doing the live, doing the 6 days a week live, my wife and I, we'd look at the calendar and go, okay, well, when are we going to go see our daughter? She lives 5.5 hours away in Calgary, Alberta. We got to drive over there. It's going to take, we want to be with her for a couple of days. We got to look at the schedule of the channel. We got to figure. And so I had to start, telling my viewers, no show tomorrow, travel day, and then doing this. And it got to the point where I had to say, okay, I got to pull back here. And get a little more of a life. Jen thinks she's got it. JRS, that's Jen. I have figured out what the answer to your question is. The sextant is now on Mark's channel. So on the screen above Mark's head, there it is. There's a sextant there, and that's different than the show this afternoon. That is incorrect. The sextant was there the whole time on the other show, but I was on the full screen. And it's true, the screen is cut in half because I have a guest. But no, that is not the answer. People still haven't figured out. No, the sextant is the watermark, Ron says. He's going, that's not it. Jeannie going, the answer is Bruce shaved. That's what the answer is. And
look how clean he is, too. It's like a baby's butt there.
I got all purdied up for you guys because I know all the super chats are going to come, and all the stickers, and all of you are going to subscribe to the channel, and the donations and everything else, all the money I get doing this. So I thought I'd clean up for you. Haven't seen a super chat yet, but doesn't matter. I think my friend might have even cleaned himself up too, but I'm not going there. It's okay.
Yeah, I showered. I shaved my back too. See, that's how much I did for you.
Oh man, that's I don't even want to.
Too much information. You never know when you might go to the beach. Otherwise it's just like it's like this on my back. Just no one needs to see that. No,
need to see that. Right on. We don't need to see that. Oh, too much fun. Do you remember meeting for the first time? Have you ever met like a real big content creator on YouTube and went, oh, that's so-and-so? Have you ever been kind of a starstruck YouTuber yourself, a fan?
Yeah, there's been 2 times. One, I went to Social Media Marketing World in San Diego, I don't know, 3 years ago. And video creators. Oh my God, I haven't watched them for so long.
Oh, from Las Vegas.
No, he lives in like Cincinnati. Video creators. Not those guys. That's a different one.
Okay.
Tim Schmoyer.
Schmoyer. Yeah, Tim Schmoyer.
So I saw him there. I was like, I went to his talks. He was a really good speaker and stuff. And I'd watched a lot of his videos. And I was like, hey man, I just want to say thank you. I gave him a beer koozie and left. I'm like, he's like, you want to talk about anything? I'm like, no, I'm fine. I've watched all your videos. I just want to say thank you, and walked away. And he's like, all right. And then there's a channel I used to watch. It was like Simon Whistler, and he has a couple like fact channels or whatever. So I was at VidCon London last year and saw him, like, hey, I love your channel, man. Just said hi and stuff like that. But I haven't really met too many over the years. I've like the only one I've actually like hung out with physically, personally, was my buddy Rob from Trip Hacks DC. He's got a small channel that just does stuff there, or stuff in DC, in Washington DC. But other ones, like we've done, because I've tried to do some collabs with some other people, but it'd be more like interview stuff like this. But we haven't had anything like bump into each other stuff. So
yeah. Now you're in Illinois, is that right?
Yeah.
So you're not near LA, obviously not your Midwest. So there wouldn't be that many YouTubers around you, type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm where I am.
There's some people up in Chicago, but I mean, I travel all the time, so it just there's just I'm never in one place, and
Right.
that's why there was a couple things in LA I wanted to go see, and I thought we'd be able to meet up with some people, but none of that's happening right now. So
no, none of that's happening at all. No, I've Jennifer, my wife, my her real name is not Jennifer, but I call her Jennifer after Jennifer Aniston. I always say my viewers, she never appears on camera, but she's a spitting image of Jennifer Aniston. So Jen and I had the pleasure of traveling to the States a few times by car in the last 2 years, and on our second last trip, we saw a few of our viewers and on the way home, I think, which is kind of nice to do. Really enjoyable. But at that time, I think I had 14,000 subscribers, and now we're at 60, whatever. But
awesome.
Very much looking forward to the next time we're south, because I do know where they are. I got Floridians all over the place. I have Californians all over.
Isn't it funny how you'll have like pockets? Like we have like a group of Minnesota and Wisconsin fans that are like hardcore fans,
right?
And then there's a group from California that are like LA, and then it was funny. Where was there? There's North. For the first, like, hardly anybody ever comments for North Carolina. And then, like, the last 2 weeks, we've been doing a few lives. It's like, North Carolina. I'm like, that's a beautiful state. Oh, you guys are awesome there. Like, where'd they all come from? we got a group in Texas and Dallas. So
Texas, yeah. My viewers, they popped in pretty early from Florida because I was covering the cruise business, the cruise business.
That's big business there, too.
What's that?
That's big business down there.
Oh yeah, huge. Lots of viewers up the East Coast, and then of course I have Canada. But my second largest audience is the UK. Over in the UK, my second largest audience is UK. Third largest is Canada, which is my home country, and then number 4 is Australia.
Huh. So ours will like US is always number 1. UK is usually 1 or 2, or sorry, it's either 2 or 3, and then Canada is usually a top 5 or 6. It's not up high, but then the other 2 in that like top 5 or 6 will be whatever video has been popular. So like right now it's the Netherlands, because like one of my old Netherlands video was popular for like 4 days and got like 300,000 views for like I'm like it's like 4-year-old video, and I'm like and I filmed it like last minute at my little tiny apartment in Amsterdam, or hotel I was at in Amsterdam. So it's like me in the window looking down on the canal. I'm like, but the other video in the Netherlands and Amsterdam was like gorgeous location. Everything's great. Actually, a better video, I thought. And they're like, nah, bro, we're not watching that one.
They're not watching it.
You just randomly in a hotel room. I'm like, man, you can't understand how these things work.
You don't know. You don't know. What was your, do you remember your first, let's say, viral is the wrong word, but I'll use that word. What's the first video that went big viewing for you that you ever had? Do you remember?
That was the 5 Love and Hates of Germany. And my oldest son, who's 14 now, was 3. And this is why I didn't know how to edit or anything. So I would like literally like put the camera down, like the Nikon down, push record, and then I just go through my spiel. And he comes up and is like bothering me or whatever. And then he looks at me, looks at the camera, then he takes the camera and he starts like, with like that really super loud laugh. Like, and no one expects it because you're just like watching all of a sudden, and they're like, people are like, you needed to warn us about that. I'm like, sorry. But it was, that was our first one that got 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. It only has like 500,000. Like, it doesn't get watched anymore,
but it had a life.
It's old. It's it's like it's in the not letterbox. It's in the like standard definition.
Right.
Yeah, back in the day, I think there was someone back there cranking the wheel. It's so old,
Yeah, cranking the machine to get the video to work. Okay, now here we are in 2020. What is the biggest video you now have on your channel? What's the number 1 all-time video?
The number 1 is the Don'ts of the U.S., which has got about 4.5 million views.
Wow. Yeah.
And that one's fun. I like that one. I think that's actually a good one. It's funny because I kind of have there's like the 3 big videos, well, the 2 big ones that I have, and there's like 4 series I really like to do. The biggest one is the don'ts, and that's more like kind of serious stuff, like, hey, what you don't do when you go there. Like, but it's like don'ts, but also don't forget to do that. So it's kind of do's, because I find people want to see the negative, and they're like, oh, that's actually a helpful negative. But then I can actually tell them some serious advice, like, look, you really got to be careful with this. So
Right.
there's those ones, which is more serious, and the shocks videos are more like fun culture shocks you might have when you're there. And then we've got a new series, which is like the mistakes. Like I just put out the mistakes of going to the U.S., and they're not bad things. It's just these little tiny cultural differences things that you'll see.
Yeah.
And then our original first series that got popular was the 511 Hates, which, you know, is because people like no one was ever talking about the bad stuff. And that's one thing I thought people should know. So we started saying the bad stuff, so people get upset that I did the good. And I haven't really made too many of those lately the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But I know if I would do them again, I would do it because I would just do the 5 hates and then the 5 loves. Now I'd probably go back and forth.
Right.
So,
Right.
whenever we travel again, I need to refilm them. So.
Yeah. Right. Is there a country? You've been to that you would really like to go back to? For another reason?
All of them. Like right now, all of them.
all of them. Okay.
No, I think we looked at it. Places that we really loved and always like to go back to: Brazil, Italy, Rwanda. Like we'd all go back to Japan, France. Like there's a lot of places we just go back to, like no questions asked.
Right.
And it is interesting because like there's places we really want to go. Like we all have like okay, where have we gone that we still want to go? We have like that list kind of stuff, and then there's like, yeah, but before we go there, can we go back to here? You know, so.
Right.
So right now, my wife and son are fighting over Rwanda because she wants to go with some friends of hers. He's like, "You're not going without me," and she's like, "Oh, I am." Oh, really? So they're. I'm like, we all could go. She's like, "No, me and my friends are going." Okay.
Oh, interesting. And is there a country you haven't been to that you wanted to visit, but for a reason you haven't made it yet?
Yeah, so Israel is one place we wanted to go, and one we had to cancel last minute because there was some stuff going on, and then the last time we were supposed to go this summer, and so that got canceled. So right. I think like the country I really want to go to: Israel, Egypt, and New Zealand are probably my top 3. My wife, Bhutan is her number 1, Ethiopia is her number 2, and these are awesome places I'd want to go. No questions asked.
Yeah.
And number 3, I think, what was her third one? I think hers was Egypt. No, it was Israel. Was her third one. So
right.
So we're like, and the thing is those are all places we had planned for this year. So like this summer was going to be Israel, Ethiopia with our Europe trip, and then Bhutan we weren't going to do because Bhutan's really expensive to get the visas for all 4 of us. Oh. So that's one we were waiting for the youngest to be a bit older. But New Zealand and Australia we were going to go to over the Christmas holiday, but that's not happening. So
no, isn't that something? And is there a country you've been to that you really don't want to go back to?
I don't know if there's places I wouldn't go back to. There's places I would definitely put behind. New places I'd like to go first, and other places I'd like to go again a few times.
Right.
But yeah, like some places. I mean, like we have like I was in Luxembourg. I have friends that live there, so I go see them. But people, I'm like. It's cool for a day or 2.
You've done that. I mean,
yeah, but I'm good. I'm good. My kids have gone there. We were there. My friend, a good friend of mine, wonderful friend. We've been friends for probably 25 years.
Yeah.
But even she's like, yeah, it's a little boring. Like,
yeah, I mean, you've been there. You've seen it. Luxembourg. Yeah. I mean, it's not that big. You saw all the highlights.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is like, so I filmed my video, the Don'ts of Luxembourg, and then my B-roll got fried. So I'm still trying to get it fixed so I can get the B-roll back. Now I have me standing there talking part,
right.
But I don't have because it was my phone camera. I was doing all the B-roll stuff, and it was funny because we did that, and we did a bunch of parody things because I was doing a video on like bad Instagram travel pictures, like that you always see. And so I was like floppy hat and I was like out the thing and all this stuff. And I'm holding it. But it was good fun. And we filmed part of it there and part of it in Paris. And the thing is though, like the Paris one was hilarious because we're at the Eiffel Tower. And where we went, it was just all Instagrammers, like getting the perfect shot, the kiss, the hug, here, I'm open. Here's my bread and cheese. I'm like, somebody's like taking, I was like, stop doing that. You can't do it. I'm like, oh, I can do that. It's okay. And that's all the stuff I lost. I was so upset. I'm like, no, that was going to be awesome.
Yeah. So close and yet so far,
Yeah.
Now, when you fly, are you? How do I ask you this? When you are thinking about future trips, how far in advance are you plotting them out? And then figuring reservations for air tickets and hotels. And are you using a travel agent? Are you doing it on your own? All that sort of stuff.
We do it all on our own. What we'll do is what I'll have is like a 3-year overall plan. Like here's the place. I mean, it's kind of like written in pencil. Like here's where we're going to go. Here's where we can kind of figure it out. Like we know something's happening. Like the Brazil. Like for example, Brazil is having the World Cup and the Olympics, and like, hey, we need to go down there to get videos for people to go there because I used to live there and I want people to have a good impression of Brazil, not that used to make it sound like this horrible place. And so there might be some things like that, but like we'll know that. Okay, summer we've got a 2-month trip at least. Okay, so let's figure out where's the place we want to go, and we'll kind of put that together. And we'll be like, look, I haven't seen my buddy Magnus for a while, so we got to get to Barcelona. So we might kind of plan it around there. Yeah. But usually when we're kind of planning it, like I'll have like, okay, we talk, and the kids get to pick a trip every year. Like they each get to pick a trip. So we'll do one of those. Wyatt picks a trip, I pick a trip, and then we let our fans pick a trip as well. And like, and sometimes they overlap. Like our fans want us to go to Mexico, and Liam wanted to go to Mexico. Like, sure, let's do it. Yeah. So it worked out fine. But then other times, like we ended up going to Iceland in 2015 because our fans like, could you go there? Because it just became like a popular place to go. And I'm like, sure, why not? We can go. They voted, so we went. And like Israel was one they voted for that we haven't got to yet, so I feel bad. But we did a Peru trip our fans picked for us. So like I had kind of like our overall plan for the next couple of few years, because like this summer was, I teach in Vienna in the summers, so it's like Vienna, Italy, and then we were going to go from Italy down to Greece, but overland through like Serbia and these things. Then we were going to go to Turkey, and that's when we come back. Then we go to Israel, and then we had Ethiopia. Then we fly back to Paris and go back. Wow. And then I was supposed to go to France and Germany because I'll do a trip with my mom as well. So she's big into genealogy. So there was a trip I was going to have with her. And then like, we'll have like Thanksgiving, like the kids have spring break and Thanksgiving. So I'm like, okay, I want the kids to have a break. So usually one of those two will be like we'll go to the islands or something, or we'll go to Costa Rica or Nicaragua. Like the last 2 years we've done like Belize, Guatemala, Jamaica, Costa Rica. Where else? Like, so then the kids kind of get a spring break too. So like, everyone else is going to the beach. Let's do a different beach.
Right on. Yeah. No, that's a great idea. Do you like to fly on one particular airline as your favorite, or?
Yeah. We always fly Delta. Like even the kids have status on Delta because we fly so much with them. So and we have an airport here in our town that doesn't have Delta. There's an airport with Delta like 45 minutes away. We drive there. Flight at 6 in the morning, so it means get up at 3. I'm like, I'm getting up at 3 because I like flying with them. So.
Right. And because of your with status, that gives you access to lounges.
Well, no, I don't get access. I can pay to get access just like everybody else.
You don't have status to go into lounges with all the miles you've flown to those guys?
No, I mean, we get platinum status, not diamond status. I don't, because we fly and then we stay for 3 months. So It's not like we're doing all the things.
Commuting, yeah.
So the wife and I will get platinum most years, and the kids will get silver because they're nothing.
And are you able to occasionally bump up? Like I'm taking it, you're usually flying economy, but you're trying to.
I only book economy. Only. I can't afford the higher things.
No.
Since we have status, we usually get bumped up. And for those of you that are a family, they can't bump up 4 people. There's only one other person that can bump up. So what we do is we buy our 4 tickets, and then we have them split the ticket. So one kid's with me and one kid's with my wife, and then we all get upgraded to economy plus or whatever you call it.
Right. Interesting.
But it's like, if we go on a trip that has, let's say, 2 legs there, 2 legs back, most of the time we'll have, 3 of those legs will get upgraded.
Oh, that's nice.
And that was pre-COVID when you had all the seats. Now you don't have all the seats anymore. So.
Right. That's right. Yeah, because now the seats are shut down and
when they used to upgrade me to a middle seat up front, I'm like, no, I want to be an economy with an aisle because I'm fat, and they'd laugh and laugh and laugh. Like, all right.
Right on. I love watching a channel called Kara and Nate. They're a young couple. And they were flying all over the world as the beginning of their channel until the shutdown. And used to enjoy watching them go through airports. And they started figuring out how to book flights where they were purposely getting 5-hour layovers because they had the access to the business lounge or the first class lounge.
Yeah.
And I think they were using American Airlines for the Admiral Club to do that, and then they would film in there and showing all the luxury accoutrements that
Exactly.
they, as economy passengers, were getting, between flights. But they're now in a van, unfortunately, or fortunately.
I know.
Now
Yeah, I think they're out in Oregon or something right now.
Yeah, yeah, I love their work. They really work hard at their.
They got some mad skills when it comes to the cinematography.
Yeah, they are really good at it. And
I can't do that. I'm like, I see their stuff. I'm like, man, I suck.
yeah. If I had to rate my filmmaking to their filmmaking, I would use the scale you just came up with. I'm on the suck end of it there. Yeah, but I love
together, my friend. Together,
we're there. Yeah, I do enjoy that high quality work that they pull off, and they're incredible at social media promotion as well. That's the other thing. I give them kudos because they're 31 years old. They grew up with internet. It's all part of their DNA now. And so to Instagram, to Facebook, to Twitter, to just
I'm like, how the hell do you have the time for all of it? But I have a day job, so it's like you can only do so much. So
right. I'm assuming you do not have assistance of really any kind. Is it really yourself and your wife that are handling it?
So now I have a company. I will send them like me talking. Yeah. Because like when I stand there and talk, like a 15-minute video will be about 20 minutes of me talking and messing up, and occasionally I will send that to a company and they'll cut out my mess ups.
Okay.
And that's all I do. And then I put in the text. I put in for Walters, I put in the text. I put in the B-roll. I do all those things.
Right on. So
because I'm like, because if I have to explain which picture to use and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, that takes more time than me doing it myself. I'm like, I'd rather do it myself.
No, it can't be done. Yeah, that's too much. Yeah, you get to the point where you just have to say, okay, this is as good as it's going to get. I'm sorry, folks. This is the style. But if it works, if you have, I have usually a 94, 95% like rating. So you kind of go, well, you like it, so keep going.
And that was my thing. Is I was like, it was kind of like I can make it a cinematography masterpiece,
right? Or
I can put out videos to help people. So I was like, look, I would rather help people and be lower quality stuff, because you know what? You only have to watch my video once. You get the information. You go on your trip and have a good time. You're not. I mean, I always feel people don't really subscribe to my channel to watch me. They watch my videos because I'm going to Berlin. I want to know what I don't do there. I want to know what I eat there. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. I'm gone. Next trip they go on next year. Oh, there's that fat guy with the beard. Where's he at? Watch his videos. Do that. And for me, I'm totally fine with that, because for me, we're putting these videos out to help people. So if I can help somebody, they don't have to subscribe. If it helps them, I'm just glad I helped them.
And it's your niche. It's what you're known for. And if you started producing cinematography masterpieces, your regulars would go, "What's he doing? This is not my guy. Where's my guy?" You're giving him that really handy. Here it is. These are the facts. Here's the story. See you next time. And it won't be long between the next time, because you don't need 3 weeks to make a cinematography masterpiece.
No, because we put out at least two videos every Wednesday and Saturday for the last 6.5 years. We have not missed a day. So
yeah, that's pretty consistent work. Do you usually have videos? What we say, the film people say, in the can. Do you have videos in the can ready to go at all times?
So I have the things that are cut out of my those things cut out. I have like the 15-minute thing ready, but I still have to go. Like the video I put out this morning, I finished editing this morning. So like I have plenty of videos I can finish editing. I probably have like another 150 videos from around the world that I can put out, but I still have to do the last editing part, which takes me a few hours. So
okay, yeah, interesting how that works. I just launched a second channel this year, Stock Markets with Bruce, where I just talk about the stock markets in a plain English kind of way to explain to people. Here's what's going on in the market today, but they're calling it this, and this is what this means.
And that's super helpful. I mean, that's why my second channel, Professor Wolters, is just basic marketing stuff. Like, let's just put into basic basic English, basic stuff that everybody can understand. It doesn't have to be all the jargon, because a lot of times that stuff isn't difficult. It's just that people put in the jargon. It makes it sound difficult.
Oh yeah. I mean, these Wall Street guys that are on TV, they try to give all the catchphrases to the latest trends in the market. Stocks go up when there's more buyers. Stocks go down when there's more sellers. It's that simple, people. There's nothing else to it. Buyers versus sellers. Today we had more sellers than buyers. So there you go. Nothing personal. Some people want it out.
And you do that, it takes the fear out of people, because then they kind of have a better understanding. They understand, and then they can understand how not to get led the wrong way.
Right, exactly. Now I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but I'll throw it at you. Do you have a favorite restaurant in most cities in the world that you've been to and you look forward to going back to?
So I don't necessarily. Well, there's some places I do have restaurants I like going to, but my big thing is we usually never give recommendations for restaurants, which people hate us for, because we get a lot of hate for not saying place to eat and place to stay. Right. But I found that those things change so quickly that it's not really super helpful. So we focus on is saying what you should eat when you're in this town, what you should eat when you're in these countries, because then you go and explore. Because I mean, there's nothing wrong. The Anthony Bourdain effect is fantastic. The Guy Fieri Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives effect is awesome. Helps so many businesses. But for me, I'm like, look, if you're in Rome, there's a lot of great restaurants you can go to. So you should eat X, Y, and Z. So look for that on a menu and find your own place. Because the place they get talked about, then it just gets flooded with just those people. But there's another great restaurant next door to it that no one goes to. And so that's why I'm like, I want to help people kind of travel on their own and discover on their own. So we just need to say, here's the thing you should be looking out for. But there's some places I always go back to. Like there's a whole, like it's like overrun with tourists now, which is fine. But SSS was a cheap, decent place to eat. I mean, nothing fancy, cheap place to eat. And in Rome we used to go to. My buddy runs a place called Pitanta, which is a little like cafe bar that has like 2 tables, 3 tables. They have 3 tables. They have 3 tables. In Vicenza that we always go to have bigli con carne, which is this duck ragu sauce with pasta noodles. Like there's a few places I like. Oh, we got to go there. It's like, there's places we go to in Portugal. Right? We lived there for 5 years. Of course, there's places we go back to. But I'm like, look, just look for the porco preto. Get the black pork. It's great. Doesn't matter where you get it. It's good. So don't worry.
Yeah, and eat where the locals eat. You can't go wrong.
Exactly. I mean, that's a big thing. It's like if you walk and you can't understand anything people are saying, probably a good place to eat.
Yeah. I mean, if you're really going on a vacation, the game plan is not go to a city like Berlin and walk into a McDonald's. That is not the deal. You're better off if you're coming out of Alexanderplatz railway station. There's a guy standing there with brats who's got.
And I used to get those all the time. I actually went to school right by there. I actually right on the next stop down. That's where my school was.
Right. My daughter had an apartment a block away from Alexanderplatz for about a year or so with her boyfriend. And my wife and I traveled there twice in 5 months, a Christmas vacay and then a spring vacation. Nice. And we would go right through Alexanderplatz time and time again. And I'd say, I want one of those brats. They're €1.
Like €2 or something like that, or 2 or 3 euros.
$1.50, something like that. Yeah. I got to go to Berlin in September of that same year on my own. And my daughter said, here are the keys to the apartment, Dad. Enjoy yourself. I was 2.5 weeks alone in Berlin.
Awesome.
And that was the greatest gift my daughter has ever given me, because I was able to explore this city.
Aside from her smile and love, of course.
Well, yeah, of course. And I got to explore.
She's watching. Come on.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
My kid's like, dude, shut up, Dad.
But watching, I was standing in the Alexanderplatz one day I stood in one spot for about 30 minutes, and I was just watching. I was just watching, and I started watching those. I started watching those bratwurst guys, and I noticed how there's like 9 of them. They're all over the place, and there's a guy on a tricycle with all the supplies who's giving them their here's more buns, more sausages, more cans of pop, and all that. Because I thought the logistics of keeping 9 guys standing cooking brats like crazy and selling them, you got to keep supplying these guys, because there's only so much they can hold.
I know, because I lived in Berlin from 1999 to 2002, and I remember the brat guys. Like, I mean, when I first went, there was like 2, and they were like, "This is my turf." And then when I would come back to visit, like by 2000, I was there in 2009 for Christmas. I mean, I'd gone back a few other times, but I took my family there in 2009. And I'm like, whoa, there's like 6 of these guys here now. This is crazy. The competition's, I mean, the price went down too. I'm like, hey, competition does.
Competition. Yeah. You can do some good eating in Berlin for a good price. It's not.
Oh yeah, that was one great thing about Berlin, man. Great international food. Not really great German food everywhere, but great international food all over the city. I mean, I would go to Kreuzberg all the time. Indian food, Turkish food, Greek food. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. Really awesome. And the visiting my daughter and her boyfriend, he was fluent in German. My mother's German, so my German is just, from a child, it's terrible. But going with him into the restaurants, and it was easy. But once you're there a couple of days, you start picking it up, and you get into it. Of course, most people speak English in Berlin anyway. But that was a treat, an absolute treat. The food, man, I love the food. Traveling, it's all about the food. When is the last time you were on a cruise?
2017 Quasi cruise on Croatian coast. We got on Dubrovnik. We went to Kotor, Montenegro. Then we went to like Pula, Split, Hvar. We went to Krka waterfalls. Where else we go? Korčula. I like Korčula. That was nice. So that was the last one I was on.
Yeah. I think I saw you did some videos on that. I think you did a video on that cruise ship. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you did a video talking about the unique smells that one can run into.
I had the little spray stuff. That's right. I did. That stuff is important, man. You know, enclosed space.
That's right. We're not talking about people's colognes here, folks. We're not talking about people's colognes and all that. We're talking about folks who are eating this ethnic food that has those phenomenal spices in it. And once that
people are not used to it,
when it gurgitates through the system, there's an exodus sooner or later, and there's a certain
aroma.
Sure, finger.
Stink. I mean, I'm not Quebecois, so I can't say, but I think
that's
pretty good.
I watched that video. I love that video. I thought I gotta meet this guy. This guy is a guy I would love to talk to, because these are the kind of videos that should be made on YouTube, because these fancy dancy little films of water fountains and Louis the 15th, whatever. I go, that's all nice, but talk to me what happens when you eat a 3-course meal.
I know. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, that's the stuff that I want to know. Like, I make the videos about stuff I want to know. I'm like, look, this is what you need to know if you're going with it. You want to know the culture, you want to have a good time, and this is what you need to know. But there was one I was taught, I think it was in Ecuador. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was my shocks of Ecuador. One of the shocks was like, because there's so much high elevation, what you don't realize is you have more gas when you're at higher elevations. So when you're there, you tube more, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, just Shaka, you will be gassier. Like, what, like burping and
burping and everything else.
Yeah, because the thing is, because some people are like, oh, my stomach's bad. I'm like, just so you know, you will be gassier. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that. So.
Well, you can play a new game. I can name that tune in 3 toots.
Yeah,
there you go. I know the name of that song. I've heard that one before. Man, awesome.
My kids have a few songs, so yeah.
I love it. I just love it. That's fantastic. No, I miss the traveling so much. I know it's killing you. It's killing me. And many of our viewers were all grounded.
I mean, it was. I mean, I was just going nuts. We did a week, 10-day trip down to Georgia in July. We just like we drove straight out, straight, and then we stopped to the north and got a hotel, and then we got a beach apartment, and like there was nobody there. So it was one of those apartments, like it's got multiple floors, but there was nobody else in the building. So we had like thing to ourselves, and we just stayed there. And then September, we went for 4 weeks out to Wyoming, Montana, Idaho. We're putting those videos out now. And so we're looking to do another, like a 2-week trip. It's like, look, when you travel, you can actually control things. Because when I'm home, you never know. You go to the grocery store, you go to other stuff. It's like this way. Hey, we can control it. We can do this.
Right.
So it's been nice to get out, but it was weird because when I tried to start filming travel videos again after 7 months of not filming, it was really weird. So I have Shocks to Nebraska, and I watch them like, God, you have not made a video for a while, dude. But after about 4 or 5 of them, I got back into them. Like, ooh, that's a good one. I like that one.
It's a good one.
Apologies to the people of Nebraska. My Shocks to Nebraska video.
It's the virus.
Watching it anyway, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah, it's the virus. It's not my fault. It's the virus. It's all right. Fantastic. A few more comments coming in. Mark, I think you should get your wife to convince Jennifer to make an appearance. Jennifer ain't coming on the camera. She's here. She's right over there. She's not coming on the camera.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hey,
Hi.
there you go.
You heard her voice.
Yeah, you heard her voice.
That's all the proof I need.
He's in the house saying hi, folks.
Hey,
Foxy is saying, he says, when I said that Mark looked as content as Michael O'Connor, born 1913, I only meant it to be friendly to him. I only meant it as a compliment, not anything rude. Well, that's what we said.
Foxy, I appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. We knew that. We figured that was the deal. People are saying hi to people, which is great. Paula Pashku saying hi from Boston. Welcome, Paula, from beautiful Boston, Massachusetts.
Another trip. I was supposed to go back there in May. That was also canceled.
See, I haven't been to Boston yet. I really want to.
It's a cool town. It's a cool town.
Jen wants to know, have you been to Canada? You must have been to Canada.
Yes. So we did a road trip. So actually, Canada was the first international destination I went to. When I was a little kid, my grandpa took us over. We lived in Toledo, Ohio. We went up and around, and we went to, I believe, Windsor. And I remember how cool it was to get a loonie. And I'm like, there's a coin that's $1? Oh my God, what is that? And my mind was blown. I was like,
I can flip it.
I know, I think this is so cool. And I'm like, and it was so clean. It was so nice. I'm like, this is a really nice place. And I remember that. So that was my first time. Then I went to, was a couple more times, and I took the kids. We did a road trip from Illinois to Florida up to Prince Edward Island.
Whoa.
Prince Edward Island. We went Prince Edward Island through New Brunswick, Quebec, Montreal, Ottawa, Kingston, Ottawa, and then Toronto, Niagara Falls, then came back to Illinois. Wow. And then we did Vancouver. So we have the don'ts of Canada, shocks of Canada.
Right.
Ways that the U.S. and Canada are the same.
Right.
And, we have Vancouver don'ts. I think we have Vancouver don'ts. What to eat in Vancouver. So
right.
Right. Got some old 511 hates of Toronto and Quebec and stuff.
Right on. Have you ever been to Calgary, Alberta?
No, that was one. I was supposed to talk at an event, and they're like, well, where you were going to fly into, we wouldn't be able to get you here, so you'd have to rent a car and drop. Wait, I got to fly and then drive 6 hours and then talk for 15 minutes and leave. I'm like, and it was February. And I'm like,
that's normal. That's normal for us. We meet people for a cup of coffee 3 hours away. I don't know what
but for me, it was like, wait, I'm going to fly up there and then drive 6 hours to talk for 15 minutes, then leave. I'm like, if you made it we could talk all day or something, but I'm like, we could, that was back before the Zoom everything. We could just Zoom.
That's right. We'll just do a Zoom call. That's true.
That was weird. It's well, why do you want to fly me up there for 15 minutes then leave? It was
no sense. Yeah. And I'm originally from Southern Ontario, so I'm in that Kitchener-Waterloo area near Toronto, just west of Toronto. And
I got a bunch of friends that teach at University of Waterloo.
I used to live 3 blocks away from University of Waterloo for many years as a kid. And that area, if you drove an hour and a half, that was a big drive. Because you could go to Toronto, in an hour and a half. That's the big city, But out west in Calgary,
you can drive for a day. You're like, hey.
Yeah, my wife and I, when we first moved out in '77, she used to work in an office job in downtown Calgary. I graduated college as a watchmaker. I was fixing watches and clocks, and I was working out of our house, out of our apartment. And I would call her up at work at noon. I say, hey, listen, after work, come on home, change, and let's get in the car and drive to Banff and go for a hot spring bath. Well, that's an hour and a half to Banff. Yeah, and in the middle of the mountains, go there, get into the hot pool, sulfur pool, get all nice and soft, and then to the A&W in downtown Banff for supper. Fancy.
A&W, you guys know how to do that stuff right, man. Our A&Ws suck. Your A&Ws are awesome.
Yeah, we were in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, absolutely wonderful. Then drove back home. Those were the good days. Those was before children, of course. But you take 4.5 hours. We'd be home at 9, 10 at night, absolutely exhausted. Next morning, we'd have to take our showers, definitely take a shower because of the sulfur smell.
Off. Yeah, of course.
And she'd go off to work, and that next night, we wouldn't go anywhere.
We used to do a lot. Like I used to do that a lot when I was traveling. Like before kids, you go. I'm like, hey, we're gonna go here for the day. Do this. And now it's like it's a little bit more like, well, we'll see. So Ryan Clark was asking. He's like, hey, where were you flying to? There is an international airport in Calgary, only 20 minutes from downtown. So I was flying into Calgary, and then I had to drive. The place was like 6 hours away. So 5 or 6 hours away. So it wasn't like in Calgary. So Calgary was the airport I was going to.
Somewhere else.
I was like, if I'm there, I could film in Calgary and then go.
Right.
So,
if you spend a couple of nights, then you can get some great shots. Because Calgary's like Denver. The Rockies are just over there, about 45 miles away. That's where you can see.
I remember when my dad told us after the Calgary Olympics, he's like, oh, we could have gone. We had work had tickets to go. I thought my mom was going to punch him. She's like, we could have gone? I'm like, we could have gone?
We could have gone to Calgary Olympics.
Eddie the Eagle Edwards? I could have seen him live?
Oh, man, Eddie the Eagle and the Jamaica bobsled team and all that stuff. Yeah, that was amazing. Those 16 days in '88 were they transformed the city. The city only had 650,000 at the time population. Today it's about 1.3 million. Still relatively small considering big cities around.
The Flames back too.
The Flames, yeah.
The Flames are back.
Yeah, so we had a good time with the Olympics. That was pretty cool. Though the world found Calgary at that point, and ever since we've had international travelers like crazy come in. But awesome. That would have been a party, man. That would have been a real party. We're getting close to the end of your time with me because you're going live on your channel, aren't you? Yeah,
we're going live at 8:15 for Whiskey Wednesday. Though my wife isn't feeling well, so it might just be me and the whiskey.
Mark and the whiskey on a Wednesday night. What's wrong with that? That's a perfect.
I don't know. The whiskey doesn't mind.
If you gotta be a creator and you gotta go live and you can zip some whiskey while doing it, this kind of works.
I know. Well, one of the things we were thinking about doing with some of our live stuff in the future is because it took 6 months to get one of those like nice webcam thing because they were all sold out forever. So I finally have one that works theoretically. So we're thinking about like putting it up in the kitchen and have it like a Halloween party because we can't do anything. Right. I was like, well, why don't we just have it here and we'll dress up and make drinks and talk stuff. So
right. What are your plans for the channel going forward? Have you any hopes, dreams, aspirations?
I think what we'll be doing right now. I only have a few videos left from our USA trip that we just had. So I'm going to finish those. And then because the Caribbean a lot of things in the Caribbean are relatively open for US travelers. So I still have some like Aruba videos and Belize videos. I'm going to put some of those out. And then I'm going to go back to European travel because I think next summer there'll be some way we can travel to Europe. And so people are going to start thinking about travel for that again. So I'll put those out through the end of the year. And then probably, anyway, I'm going to guess I'll be doing a bunch of solo travel. Because the kids right now, their school is online, so we can do like a month in Wyoming. But they're supposed to go back face-to-face in January, so I'll probably end up doing some stuff on my own.
Cool.
Right. Hopefully next summer we can all go again.
Yeah, that's right. Louise asks, how many trips would you take a year on average?
There's at least one trip a month, at least one. Like this year, I had 4 in January. We were having 2 in February, then all got canceled. But we'll go for like 6 to 10 weeks at a time sometimes. So
right on. Yeah, nice. Well, sir, I cannot thank you enough for being my guest.
Thanks for having me on, Bruce. This has been fun, buddy. And thank you all your fans. Don't forget, help out this guy. Give him some super chats. Help him out. He needs a new razor. To get that clean shave, that's.
I shaved just for this show. I shaved.
Even via the internet, it looks baby soft. Hey, Jennifer, is it baby soft? Baby soft. There you go. Hey.
baby soft.
I shaved my beard once in the summer, like when we finished our big trip. I got out there. I'm like, okay, we're home for a month and no travel. I shave it, and the kids are like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "This is so weird." He's like, "I have no chin anymore, and I look like I'm 12 with bald."
Yeah, when you have one and then you let it go, you get the double takes for a while. You absolutely get the double takes. It's the way it is. Yeah. Fantastic, man. Thank you so much, Mark, for this. You ever need a guest on your channel, let me know.
Thanks, Bruce.
More than happy to join in. And all the best to you and your fans and viewers, your family. And I hope the virus stays well away from you and everyone you know. And, we'll someday we may meet on the road. You never know.
You never know. That's what's cool. So you be safe, Bruce. Jennifer, you be good. And to all your fans out there, buddy, have a good time. Keep up your chat. Have a good time traveling. Whenever you can travel again safely, I hope everybody can. And thanks for watching. I'm going to head out. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Take good care. Bye-bye. Well, how about that? It's just great. I just love bringing YouTubers in and getting their perspective on what's going on out there, what they're doing, how they do what they do, the history of their channel, plans for the future, funny stories. It's just great visiting with people. I cannot thank Mark enough for really blessing me to come on to my little channel. We have 60,000 plus subscribers. He's got 700 plus thousand. It's wonderful, and I really do appreciate it. I'm reaching out to other YouTubers out there. Hopefully can find others to come on, and we'll let you know if and when we nail some more down. We got a few irons in the fire right now, and we'll kind of keep on top of things. But all of you out there, I so appreciate, as you know, I appreciate you being here with me. Jen is saying we have a 75 thumbs up so far for this show. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate that. I haven't been able to read all of your comments because you guys keep pumping them out, which I love. I really do appreciate, of course, all of that. Again, thank you for being here. I'm saying goodbye to Ron and Tammy, Demi, Emmanuel. Thanks for introducing this channel to me, Bruce. I'll be checking out, subscribing. Tammy, I'll love to see his chest here. Susan, it was fun. Jen, nice guy. He's a great guy. Suzanne, you are great. Thank you, Suzanne. Louise, didn't notice you shaved. I did. I went on. I had a shower and everything just for you guys. I didn't want to get too scruffy today. But on my early show today, I had no warning. I just went live and did my thing. So if you get a chance, check out the early live show I did today and give it a thumbs up. And if you don't mind giving this show a thumbs up, I would appreciate that. Check out Mark Wolters' channel and subscribe to him as well. He deserves all of our support. All of us as YouTubers, we are struggling right now. Our ad rates are all getting nailed left, right, and center. Our advertising revenues are just under tremendous pressure. And so we're just hanging out with each other and thanking our viewers for loyally following along with us as we endure this shutdown, which is worldwide, unfortunately, and it's just the way it is. Foxy313, really enjoyed your show too. Thank you, Foxy13. I really appreciate that. Tammy, I'll subscribe to Mark. He's cute. There you go, Tammy. I'm sure his wife will like that. But thank you, guys. This is Bruce with Traveling with Bruce saying thank you again for your support and following me tonight. And keep an eye open. Tomorrow is Thursday. We'll see what we can put up for a video tomorrow. Friday, I'll be live at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for the Traveling with Bruce sponsor member hangout show and live trivia. If you love trivia, subscribe to my channel right now and join me Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern time. You can also join me on a sponsor member hangout show just for sponsor members, Mondays at 7 o'clock Eastern time. We do 2 shows a week for sponsor members. Would love to have you become part of the gang. A bunch of these folks are here. You'll notice their names are highlighted in green. And I thank them very much for being sponsor members. It's a 33-cent a day commitment to the channel. Helps keep me on the air, helps keep Jen and I going. And we do appreciate it very much. Let's see. Suzanne Morrow, if we can cruise, who's going to take us? I don't know. Jeannie, fun show. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Jeannie. Jan, see you Friday for sure, Bruce. Thank you, Jen. I know your mail. I know, Foxy. I got the message. Debbie, yay, trivia. Freaking awesome. Gotta say, Debbie had the answer of the week last week on our live trivia show. The answer, the quiz had about 86 correct answers, And right towards the end, when I almost had to give away the final answer, one of the final answers, Debbie guessed what one of the correct answers was. And the question was, name the toys that are in the Toy Hall of Fame. And the one correct answer I hadn't received yet was one of the first toys ever had, a toy from prehistoric times. This is a toy that children would have used back in caveman days, many years ago, and Debbie, and they still do it today. Even now, you go camping with your kids, and you go walking through the forest, and one of those kids of yours will pick one of these up and start playing with it. And Debbie Manuel said, "A stick?" And I said, "Yes, a stick." One of the earliest toys known to mankind, the entire species of our planet. A stick. If you love trivia, join us Fridays, 3 o'clock Eastern for the live trivia show, the sponsor member live trivia show. I'm lining up questions right now for Friday afternoon's show. So there you go, everybody. Thank you for being here, Foxy. Take care, Bruce. All the best. Thank you, Foxy. So we're trying to watch Mark's live stream. Tammy, Etch-a-Sketch. That's right. Run, Stick, Silly Putty. That's right. All the toys made the Hall of Fame. All the toys from your memories. So you want to get a trip down memory lane as a kid? Join Fridays at 3 o'clock for the sponsor member trivia show. I'll pull out the old memories for sure. All right, guys, thank you. Have a great evening, and we'll see you on the air tomorrow for whatever video I crank out, and then on Friday, of course, at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you, guys. Take care, and we'll see you later.